This week's seminar, How to Profit in the Soaring Market. We decided to do it because prices are still going crazy. We're going to go over the stats in a little bit, but they are still going crazy. So we're going through a refresher on how do our investors profit when the market is like this today.
And there's certain segments of the market that are really taking off. And so we wanted to put it out there to showcase where, and if you do choose to invest in a market like this, and Tim, in an up market, there are easy ways to make money. And of course, some segments are really taking off, and we want to explain why. So that's what this seminar is all about. We hope you enjoy it.
How to profit in a soaring market. Now, it's interesting that we've got this gentleman on the front screen, or on the first screen of our seminar. Now, John here, he's into his third suited property. His first one was legally suited. The second one, he's in the process of legally suiting it. And this third one is a legally suited property down in Seton.
Mm-hmm.
And he's profiting because he just took action.
Mm-hmm.
He had been following us for a while, and then we helped him pick up the first two properties. Now he's picking up his third, and he's making a huge profit on all three of them.
Yeah, and you know what? A young guy, was he living at home before, or was
he was living in the States.
Oh, he was living in the States before, and he came back to Calgary to live. And Tim, it's only been a few years, and it's 2 years, I think, and he's on his third property. And we chose this one down in Auburn Bay.
No, it's in
Seton. And it's just it's walking distance to the little shopping area down there, definitely walking distance to the hospital. And this one already comes with a basement tenant, and John's planning to move in upstairs. So that's called house hacking. At the end of the day, you know, it's up to John if he keeps the tenants. He's doing so well on the other properties that he can make that decision.
We'll get into the seminar right now, How to Profit in a Soaring Market. As we mentioned, and you saw in that market report, the market is still very, very healthy here in Calgary. We're even seeing markets like Toronto and Vancouver start to turn around, and they're starting to see increases as well. They dipped a little bit when interest rates went high relatively to what they were before, and their prices are just very, very high. So it's quite challenging to find a cash flowing rental property in those two markets, but investors are doing it. They're finding ways. They're renting rooms. They're doing student rentals. They're doing rent-to-owns. They're finding a way to cash flow even in those large markets. But in our soaring market, Calgary right now, we're going to showcase a few ways where you can profit, and that's the main or the end goal for real estate investors, is that profit, because that profit builds your wealth, and that's what sets you in for a better retirement.
Yeah, 100%.
So the first thing we're going to talk about is, before we get started, anyone gets started in real estate investing, we've got to stress that it takes a lot of work. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. And the bottom line right here, we always say it's the time in the market, not timing the market. So you investors that bought last year, yeah, you got in at a great time. You know, you made 10% already. But for the investors that might buy at the peak of the market, which Azad and I have done many, many times, one thing we can always count on is our market historically has had a 3.5% annual gain over the last 75 years. So there's your historical price increase.
Yeah, and I mean, the last 4 or 5 years, we've been running at 9% roughly. So it's tripled that, but we always just go off the historical data. And what we need everyone to understand there is that if the property is cash flowing and you're not pulling money out of your back pocket, you know, you'll be able to invest for longer, right? And you'll be able to, and if you buy smart, and there's many ways to buy smart. One of them would be looking at which communities are taking off right now. And Tim, we've been talking about the Northeast for a while, and there's pockets in there. We just released a video on our YouTube channel, Calgary Real Estate Wealth YouTube channel, and you know, there's beautiful pockets in there. I mean, I was in Dover on the weekend, and Tim, we wouldn't go into Dover for the longest time. And Dover is one of those communities that has two sides to it. Tim, I came to work today, came to the office today, he said, so you're a Westover. So Westover is a little bit different than Eastover. We could tell you Eastover, the closer you are to 17th Ave, you're going to see a little bit more riffraff. It's just how it is. And so we would rather stay away from that, but there are wonderful pockets. And this property that we did take a run at on the weekend, you came out the backyard and it had full mountain views. It had a double car garage. It was a legally suited property. It was in a cul-de-sac as well. So when you add all of these factors up, we like to call them the wow factor. You know, this property was listed at 545. I can tell you we went in at 580. We just had a property inspection condition. That's it. And we still didn't get that property. But if you understand what's going on with Calgary, and a lot of people, Tim, wonder, well, the market's gone up so much, how much is it going to go up further? We can definitely tell you Calgary is nowhere near where it should be. Nowhere near. I mean, we're getting there. But when you look at the averages in Toronto and Vancouver, their averages are 1.1 to 1.2. We're still in the 600, 650 range. So we feel we have a long way to go. And so when we talk about these price ranges, that the Calgary averages is going up 650, we were discussing that it's going to force people into condos and into townhouses, and we can already see those numbers. And if you look at the townhouse market, Tim, right now it's up 19% this year. So that those areas will continue to go up.
Yeah, and back to the community of Dover, I just want to talk about this a bit. What was that price that you went in at?
I went in at 580.
580. So 3-4 years ago, that same property would have been under $400,000. Mm-hmm. And what this is going to do with these price increases in the communities that were somewhat marginal years ago is it's actually going to clean up the communities. Because if someone's paying $600,000 for a bungalow in Dover, that's going to bring the property prices of all the neighbors up as well. And people are going to start taking an interest in looking after those properties, making sure there's less crime in those communities. So these price increases are going to be beneficial to these communities that are that used to have a stigma to them. You know, they were lower end, they were lower income, but we believe that these prices are going to help these communities out.
Yeah, 100%. And we're seeing it in communities that sort of had a stigma. Ogden would be more like
Ogden.
Yeah, they would have had, you know, older homes in them. Ogden, it's partial industrial, you know, not inside Ogden, but overlooks it. So, you know what, now those communities is just taking off because it's affordable.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on, the first thing you want to do is you want to become the expert. And what does that mean? That means educating yourself as much as you can about your market, about the rental rates, about the property prices, about crime statistics, what we were talking about. You need to become an expert on the market that you're going to invest in. Now, that means going to your local real estate board, getting the stats, reading all the newspaper articles, good and bad, about what's going on in your community, and hang around people that are like-minded.
Yeah, exactly. We always say you're an average of the 5 closest people to you. I used to tell a story when I moved to Canada. I wanted to be a snowboarder. I used to surf in Australia, and I was hanging out with guys that were sponsored by Burton Snowboards, and you know what? It made me a better snowboarder. But same as investing, and that's why we do this. We feel that you should belong to an investment group, and this is free, so it's perfect. Tim and I have written 2 books. One's called Fearless Real Estate. The other one's called 1 Million Reasons to Buy Real Estate. That ebook is free online, which we'll give you the link to tonight, so you can have that. But yes, you have to be educated. You have to understand the core fundamentals on things like property cycles and cash flowing and the 3 rates of return. And you have to learn, Tim, not to complicate it. We always get the engineers that come to us that suffer from analysis paralysis. And at the end of the day, Tim, they just really take it to the extreme. I mean, we give them our analysis and then they analyze our analysis and do their own analysis. So at the end of the day, real estate, it really isn't that hard. As Tim said, it takes time. So you have to understand that. And you can hit that magic thing that happened last year where real estate just went from here to here. And that's what real estate does. Like if you're in it and you hold on to it, you stand to reap the rewards from it. But we invest, or we look at that as a bonus, Tim, for our clients. And right now, like I came into the office and I said, Tim, we have a client that is looking to refinance now because we've gone through this growth spurt, and he can refinance and look at doing other things with those funds. And that is the greatest way to either upgrade your home or upgrade your portfolio. And we're doing that, Tim, for clients this year where we're getting them out of certain property types. We just sold one in Spruce Cliff that our clients had for a number of years.
Yeah.
We upgraded their primary residence. They bought a nice big smoking home in Wildwood,
yeah.
in Wildwood. And thank God we did that. And they just thought, you know what? The bungalow market in Spruce Cliff is going crazy. And we listed for $725 and we sold it for $825, no conditions. So they're taking those funds now and they will go into the hot townhouse market and look to make money off these townhouses, which are easier to manage as well. So you just have to understand which segments of the market are moving. And you know what, just by reading the Calgary Herald, I don't really look at the Calgary Sun, but the Calgary Herald, you see interesting articles all of the time. It might be on population growth. And Tim, that's what you might want to speak to that quickly with what's going on. It's not an oil boom right now, it's a population boom. So when you understand what's going on in Calgary, it helps you take the fear out and move forward.
Yeah, and the last thing on this slide I want to talk about is limit the amount of money you spend on real estate investment courses. We have had so many people come into our office and say, well, I just took this course from, we won't mention the name of the group, but it cost me $20,000. And what do I do now? Well, you can spend endless amounts of money on these real estate investment education seminars, books, mentors, things like that. Try to limit the amount of money you're going to spend on that. And, like Azad said, join clubs for free.
Mm-hmm.
Being part of Calgary Real Estate Wealth, you're part of a 6,000 member group that, is doing all kinds of real estate investing, all the different strategies out there. So the more you can be around people that are like-minded, that are doing what you want to do in real estate investing, the better it is. You'll learn more from them than you will from these courses that are charging upwards of $20,000, $30,000.
Yeah, we've seen it. We've done those courses. So
yeah.
We can definitely tell you that, we did it because, we were going to use it, Tim. To be honest, most of those people that spend that money don't do anything with it. They actually come to us for help, and then we get them into either flipping or into all sorts of different
rent owns or wholesaling.
Yeah, just buy and hold to make that money back, and that's our goal for people. But it's funny, they come to us to buy the properties, and at the end of the day, that is the most crucial aspect of investing in real estate, is buying that first property that ticks all the boxes.
Yeah. So the next slide here, develop a real estate investment plan. We'll do this pretty quickly here, but when you are going out and investing, no matter what strategy you're doing, make sure you have a plan. You need to analyze the properties that you're going to get into. You need to make sure that you have the proper exit strategy and write it all down. So if you're flipping, document it, take pictures, write all your numbers down, document it. So the next time you do that same thing, if you need an investor, you have this documentation, your investment plan, and it's a lot easier to sell because you have the experience, you're the expert. So put everything in a plan so that you can use it to further your real estate investing.
Yeah, and we see people that get like, Tim, they come in, we've had one lady come in, she was doing multiple courses at once, and she just didn't know where to start. At the end of the day, you have to really work out, when you're working with us, we sit down, we work out a strategy, we work out what's best, depending on how much money you have, how much you can borrow, if it's your first property. There's many aspects that go into working out a strategy, and then we implement it, okay? And you know what? You need people that are going to educate you along the way. Tim and I say to our clients all the time, we're never selling, we're not those sales type real estate agents. We're educating them and we're helping them understand why this property is going to make sense. and why they should buy it. So when it comes to that, you're 100% confident and comfortable with moving forward.
Yeah, so the next thing is you've got to take action. You have to start investing. And if you want to profit in a soaring market like we have today, you've got to take action. Pick a strategy and go with it. Start with one. We always talk to these people who they have these very, very lofty goals. They want to own 10, 20 doors. That's great. But until you own that first one, the 10th one is not you're not going to get that 10th one. You've got to start with one thing. We had we were talking about before, a couple of investors from BC, and they haven't even closed or they haven't taken possession on their first property, and they're already talking about, well, let's get the next one, let's get the next one. And that's how they're like, slow down, let's take possession, let's get your property rented, and then let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we always say that, like, just get used to it. And they're very excited. They're flying in on Friday. We're meeting them down at a property that we bought that they haven't even seen. Tim and I chose it for them. And Tim, we wrote a few offers for Denise and Trevor, but at the end of the day, we landed on a three-bedroom condo, walkout condo. So that means people don't have to go through the condo building; they can just come out their back patio onto the street. You can look down the street, and the brand new hospital is there, and it's walking distance to all the restaurants and shopping that you ever need. So. Huge wow factor with this unit, and they put it on online to be rented already, and they already had an unconditional tenant wanting the property, wanting to sign a lease before they even own it. So yeah, that is key to finding properties that are going to work. And when we say that, for the longest time downtown, Calgary had a problem with oversupply. So if you just had a condo in one of these downtown buildings, you know what? They were hard to rent out at one stage because there was just too much supply. So you need to find something unique about a property, either a view, or this one had 3 bedrooms, a huge kitchen, and Tim had that walkout patio as well. So there's got to be factors towards choosing that property and making it work.
Yeah, and the final thing on this page is don't overanalyze. I believe we spoke to that earlier about our engineer clients that tend to overanalyze. Get your numbers right. Do your research so that your rental rate is correct. Do your research so that the price that you purchase that property at is correct. And then analyze it quickly, and then you'll be able to make a decision from there. You can always tweak your numbers later. You can tweak your rental amount later. We'll show you certain tips on how to get more rent in this market right now. But don't overanalyze. Just make sure your analysis is good to go. And in a market like we're in today, you have to jump on these properties. Like Azad said, we're in multiple offer situations almost every single day. And if you can get in quick, get that property, do your analysis quick, you can't wait on properties these days, then you will, you're taking action and you're starting or continuing your investing career.
For sure.
All right, the number 4 point here is to maximize your profit is start doing multiple real estate investment strategies at the same time. Now, we've got people that are doing buy and hold, and yet on the side, they're flipping properties or doing the BRRRR strategy or they're wholesaling. They're doing 2 strategies at the same time. So they're essentially doubling up on their real estate investment properties.
Yeah, and this is key with interest rates going up, and they might be coming down now, but people are wondering, well, how are your clients cash flowing? So what we would do is we would have multiple strategies going on for that investor. So what does that look like? They may have one rental property that's just buy and hold. They may have another rental property that we know, you know what, they can either add value to, and by adding value, that means either renovating or adding a basement suite, and that will give them the option to refinance. The value of that property is going to go up. They can refinance those funds out, which will help them cash flow on their other properties if they're just breaking even. So with interest rates going up and prices going up, you may need to either refinance or flip a property out to put money in your bank account to float that property. And there's nothing wrong with that. We've seen time and time again where investors, if you're running it too tight, sometimes, Tim, it's not worth it, or it becomes a burden, right? So that's the worst thing you could do as an investor. You have to understand that if you want to do this more frequent than most people, you have to get in and out of properties if interest rates, are causing a negative cash flow position. Or if you're buying at a higher price point, that would be one option to raise those funds.
Yeah, and a little later on in the seminar, we're going to talk about our project that we have down in Okotoks, where investors can maintain their current portfolio of rental properties, and yet they can get into this opportunity and skip sell it out before they have to put a mortgage on it. So that's another way to generate income or more funds to continue on and maybe buy another buy.
Yeah, it's perfect.
So we'll go into explaining that a little bit later.
I'll just quickly talk about building lots, Tim. So in Calgary, what's happened since we've had this rezoning going? It's gone through now, right?
Well, it's
still going on.
August is when they want to push it through.
Okay, so everyone knows about the rezoning designation. What's happening anyway, Tim? They're allowed to build more lots on one property. So basically, we're seeing 3, 4. We've seen the other day someone building, and we want to go do a walkthrough on this, property tour on this. They're building a 4-plex, so it's 4 units, but they have on a 50-foot lot, 50 by 110, 120. But each unit has basement suites. So that's legal basement suites. So that's actually 8 lots, and then the same developer
properties.
8 properties. The same developer. It's on Bow Trail. It's across the road from Shaganappi train station. He actually got 5 townhouses, 2 wedged in. It was a corner lot, so 2 wedged in on one side, and then 3 along the front of Bow Trail. Basically, there is a service road there. I don't know what it's called, but you've got to see it. And he got away with not putting full garages in. I think it's only got 3 car spaces in the back because the city relaxes the parking if you're close to a train station or walking distance to a train station. So this was a clever move. He put 10 units on one lot, and it's producing $35,000 rent per month in total, which is absolutely huge. So when you start to see this sort of stuff, what we're seeing is the builders' lots going through the roof. So a builder's lot, Tim, is normally 50 by 110. That would be minimum.
Yeah, and these lots used to be the corner lots, the less desirable lots on busier roads. People didn't really want to buy houses on there because of the traffic, because of the exposure to the intersections or whatever. But now they're the ones that you're putting up these huge projects on.
Yeah, so we're seeing them on busy roads, on busy corners, and so they're tearing the houses down and they're putting in at minimum 4 units if it's a corner lot, with the possibility of having basement suites, or they're building duplexes or 4-plexes, standard 4-plexes. So you're going to continue to see that, and we've seen builders lots in general, Tim. We were good to get a builder's lot for 525, 550. We are finding it hard to get them for under 650, let alone we're paying up to 800,000 for them. And even at 800,000, the numbers still work because you can go in and build multiple units on that property, and those multiple units would sell. If they had basement suites, we just bought one in Northern Bay, basically was it Northern Bay?
Yeah.
In Northern Bay.
No, Seaton.
Seaton, sorry. And what did we pay for John?
685.
685. So each unit can go for 685. The numbers still work, even if you had to pay all the way up to 800 for a lot.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So you're going to see these builder lots, these older bungalows in good communities. I mean, it's even happening in Bowness. We bought one for Cole. I think he paid $660 for his in Bowness. So even in areas like Bowness, they're going up as well.
Yeah. Okay, so the market is soaring. How do you make a profit? Well, this gentleman on this slide here, Alejandro, he right now is doing a renovation flip project in Silver Springs. He is just champing at the bit to go with another project and another one after that. He knows that the market is exploding, and he wants to go through as many of these renovations or use the BRRR strategy to make as much money as you can in this soaring market.
What's funny about this property here, it's in Thorncliffe. We actually bought it from Tim. It was under 4.
It was under 4, yeah.
Yeah, he bought it for 390. We're only talking 2.5 years ago, not even. And he didn't know what he was going to do with the property. It was sweeted. He just rented it out. He actually didn't do anything. This property was like grandma's house, original condition. And Tim, I think he walked away with like close to 200,000.
Yeah, because some builder approached him and wanted to buy the lot.
Yeah.
And do a renovation or a new build on that lot. And he was like, yeah, because he used the funds to buy this one in Silver Springs, which he's going to make quite a healthy profit. We'll probably go through the numbers when he's finished.
Yeah.
And he's actually getting near completion right now. So we'll do a walkthrough on that one and show you guys all what he did.
Yeah, so you can see, what that kind of looks like. But he's gone into it, and you know the talk around the capital gains right now, and he's not even worried about that. He's, at the end of the day, you have to pay those taxes. That's what it is. And there's still a bunch of profit to be made by flipping homes.
Yeah. So how do you make a profit? The first thing you can do that can affect your bottom line is increase your cash flow. And on this screen, we've got many, many ways how our clients are increasing cash flow. We'll go through them one by one just so that you guys can, we really need to stress this. Wherever your cash flow is right now, wherever your rental rates are right now, there is going to be room to increase your rental rates, increase your units in whatever you're renting out. You just have to get creative. And we'll go back to the old saying that one of our colleagues at our office used to say all the time. He said, if you're not cash flowing, you're not trying. So these are ways where you can try to increase your cash flow.
I just noticed the picture in the background. I just got to speak to this wonderful person. So she came to us, she was referred to us by some clients. She was renting downtown and she was nervous. She was nervous, but we got her into this beautiful ground floor unit in Mackenzie Town. Walking distance to 130th, where all the shopping and everything is there. And then eventually we know the sea trade's coming right beside this complex. Yeah. So it's going to be perfect for her. But she went from renting to owning, and that, God, we can't even, it's got 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. We can't even find condos anywhere near the price. And this was Tim, she took possession in January.
Yeah, this year.
We can't even find condos in this price range. I think we paid like $275. You cannot get a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom for under $350 right now in the space of 5 months. So she was nervous, but she's made a lot of money. And once again, it's just by taking action. She hasn't gone out to become a landlord, but she did stop renting.
Well, that's her plan, is to eventually rent this unit out and move on to her next one. She just needs to take time so that her income can catch up to what she needs to do.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. But yes, so at the end of the day, you have to get the cash flow up. And we run into this a lot of the times where landlords, they don't want to increase the rents. Like I don't know, they're shy to do it. Now, we got to be honest, this is a business, okay? And if rents are going up, rents are going up. Like I had to actually move out a tenant, a wonderful tenant that I had for maybe 4 years. He was an accountant. He was renting one of my properties it was a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom condo downtown. He was renting it for $1,250. And it got to the point where I realized rents were $2,000. And I raised the rent on him the first time $300. And I got to 15, I raised it, $300 to $1,550. And then I still realized, wow, I'm really, really low. And I just had to be honest with him, and say, look, I got to move you out, buddy. I don't want to raise it another $500 on you. And I was in my right to do that. And I was very honest and nice about it. And he moved out. I gave him 3 months notice, which is legal. And just to speak to the quality of tenants that are available out there, I must have had 30 or 40 people wanting this unit. I put it on for $2,050, and it rented out to IT professionals that earn incredible money that are new to Canada from India, and they were living in a boardwalk apartment, rented apartment that had bed bug issues and stuff like that. So they wanted out. They wanted out of there, and they were happy to pay me $2,050. So if you can get the rents, we always say keep a pulse on the rental market, see what it's going for, and it's up to you if you want to renew with that tenant and renegotiate or get new people in. And we can definitely tell you in this market, as we know with the Seaton property, that's possessions next Friday, and the property's basically already rented out. So that's how crazy it is, and we don't even own the property. So that's how crazy it is.
And so the first thing here, if you have a detached garage, rent it out. Rent it out separate from whoever's renting the house. Right now, guys are getting crazy amounts for these garages. We had one guy rented out for a garage for $600 a month. John, who was on our title page there, he has a garage in one of his Fairview places, but he also has a parking pad beside it. So all winter long, he rented it to some guy who owned a speedboat for $60 a month. And this is just a parking spot within a community. Yeah. So guys are getting creative, and they're renting out, parking spots, they're renting for garages, and they're increasing their cash flow without really, adding more tenants, because they're renting, to cars and stuff.
Yeah. And just to talk about parking pads, we have had a client rent out to an RV, someone with an RV, but he didn't ask them if they would be living in the RV. So please do your homework and ask them, are they just parking the RV or are they living in it? Because this property was in Huntington Hills. It was a suite property, and all of a sudden someone's living in the back lane. Okay,
we don't recommend that.
We don't recommend that at all, and it kind of got into a weird situation there, but it's a true story. So, and it's happened not once, twice now. So just make sure they're not living in it, and they're not running the power and whatnot.
So next one, renting out rooms. Whether it's student rentals or you're just renting out rooms in a house, the going rate now is $1,000 to $1,200. We've seen people rent out rooms for $1,400 a month to students if you have a place up near the university. Crazy rents right now. Requires a little more management because you have more tenants in the house, but it's a way to increase your cash flow.
Yeah, for sure. And then we're looking, the student market right now, we always say this, if you're not cash flowing, you're not trying. The student rental market, it's not necessarily students sometimes, it's just new to Canada people. They might be single, there might be a couple that'll rent a room, and that's the going rate. So if you had a 5-bedroom home, you could make some tremendous cash flow from it. Basement suites, we're seeing some crazy rents. We had a fellow, Gersh, his name is, bought in Thorncliffe last year. He's getting it's a brand new basement suite. So brand new in Thorncliffe, just off Centre Street, one block off Centre Street. He's getting $2,000 a month for his basement suite. We couldn't believe it. He's getting another $2,000 upstairs, and he's renting his garage out actually for $700. So he's getting $4,700 rent per month. So it doesn't matter if you, and that property team, I think we bought it for $525, and he spent $100,000 on renovations, and he's still cash flowing. So you can cash flow. These days, if you have a suite of property, if it's in a good area, with a garage, you should be pulling in roughly $4,000 per month. That's basically it.
Yeah.
What does that look like? Yeah, it could be, 24 up and 16 down, and 24 up would be with the double car garage. So you can definitely make that happen. 2-story homes with suites. Some 2 stories just alone are going for $2,600. And then the suites down could go for $1,000. You just have to remember with the suites on 2-story homes, they're normally smaller.
Yeah, the footprint is smaller, so you generally only have 1 bedroom down there. If it's a walkout, it's that much better because then the door is in the right place. But what we're seeing the builders do these days is they're building the houses with the mechanical room in a corner, and the stairway goes along the side of the house, inside the side of the house. And so both suites have access to that mechanical room, whether they got to flip a breaker or change a furnace filter or something like that. But the builders are getting a lot better in using the space in these basements in the 2 stories. So we're seeing the suites being a lot better laid out. So you can get those rents of $1,000 or $1,200.
Yeah, the next one we got in here is Airbnb. Airbnb is going to continue to make people money just because hotels are charging so much. I was telling Tim I was in the mountains on a long weekend. I mean, hotels are one thing, and then you go out for dinner. That's just crazy. We went to Lake Louise, and just to park in the car park at Lake Louise is $37 right now. So people are going to look for alternative, especially if they're big groups, if it's a family and they're visiting. They're going to look at Airbnb, and it's a much cheaper option than getting 2 hotel rooms. Hotel rooms, Tim, we travel a lot with our kids' hockey. Tim, we used to get hotel rooms anywhere for $100 to $150, right?
Yeah.
Those days are gone. Like you're looking at 200, 220 in most cases.
And these are just run-of-the-mill, Holiday Inns and things like that. We're not talking luxury hotels.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just basic hotels. Rent to own, this could be a great way to cash flow in this market. What we love about rent to own right now, it gives new to Canada people a hope of getting into the market. They're not just throwing away their money when they're renting. So rent to own is really going to come back really strong. And just break it down for people out there. A rent to own agreement is basically renting your property to someone, but having an agreed set price at the end of the rental term. A rental term could go for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years is the max we've ever done. They normally pay a deposit, which is non-refundable. We've seen deposits go from $5,000 to $50,000, so it depends on the property. And then they pay rent credits on top of the rent. So if the rent's $2,000, they may pay $2,500 per month, and that extra $500 goes towards a credit to them buying the house. So their deposit and their rent credits make up the total amount of money saved for a deposit later on. It could go back into a separate account, or it could be deducted off the predetermined purchase price at the end of the term. All we ask for that is that you work with the mortgage broker to make sure that these people, if they are new to Canada, what is the time frame involved? Will they be able to qualify? So you are helping someone out. The problem with rent to own right now, Tim, is we don't know what price would be in 3 years' time, because we see this market continuing for some time. It will not slow down at all, just because Toronto and Vancouver are so expensive, especially for new to Canada people. And the best thing about what's happening in Calgary right now is becoming very multicultural. I've never seen so many different nationalities, different backgrounds. And so when that happens, guess what? Their families start to follow, and the communities just expand, which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, we had a conversation with one of our clients, Mark, who did a rental in Cochrane, and he had to extend it for an extra year because the couple that went in to buy the house, they needed that extra year to get their financial ducks in a row. And what he said at the end of the experience, he thought it was very, very positive and helped them out. He made some profit on it. His only downside was he wished he had valued the property higher at the end of the contract, so that because the market had moved so much that he didn't make as much profit as he could have. But again, nobody has a crystal ball. He factored in the proper amount at the time, the proper increase at the time. But if you extend it out longer than it should originally go, you may not capture all the profits that you want to.
Yeah, that's the only catch there. So you got to be happy with what's set in place at that time, and really to run those numbers on what the appreciation would be in a 3-year period. You can only take what's happening in this market today, and at that time the market was still soft, right? Moving on to executive and furnished rentals. So we'll talk about a 2-bedroom condo. A 2-bedroom condo on average right now in Calgary is renting for $2,100. If it was furnished, and depending where it is, it could go all the way up to $3,000. A furnished apartment might be more like $2,600. And if it's down near a Clare Market or the West End, any of those high-end areas of downtown, and if it had views, it could even go past that. So we want to stress that. And you know what? That is massive right now, because people are coming here for work. They might be signing a 1-year contract. And the best thing about furnished rentals is that companies might even pick up that tab, and it'll be part of their package when they do move here and take on that job. So yeah, you can see a number of ways to cash flow in a soaring market. We need everybody to understand out there that there are multiple ways to make money from real estate. It doesn't just have to be the buy and hold. And you have to get creative when prices are going up or soaring. In this current market, you have to get creative and you have to understand, well, what can I do to better my situation and continue to grow if you choose to.
Yeah, so another way to profit in this market is you can flip your way to wealth, or you can BRRRR your way to wealth. Now, what is BRRRR? It's buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. We've got investors in the market right now doing this strategy. We've also got straight up flippers.
Yeah.
This is Dennis here. He's on a BRRRR project right now. You can go over the numbers as that, but he bought a place in Marlborough. He's going to fix it up, get it rented out, and when he's done, because of the level of renovations he's doing, he can refinance it and pull out quite a bit of money.
Yeah, he's not on the call. He's not on the call because he's actually renovating right now. So
he likes to do a lot of the work himself, even though he's got a day job. He really does like to get his hands dirty and get in there and do a lot of the renovations himself.
I hope he's not on the call because I'm going to give him a tough time. So this property was a perfect grandma's house, right? It was very, very well looked after, even when we were in there. And what's going on in the Calgary market is that it's very tough to get a property with a basement suite right now. It goes into multiple offers. It's ridiculous. It goes way over list price. So we've kind of said, you know what, let's not do that. Let's go and find a really good house that's really well looked after, and let's put our own basement suites in. And this is what Dennis is doing. But we went over there, we said, hey, we're going to set the budget at 60,000, and we just want you to do some basic, I was at the cabinet place today actually, and we've got a really good lead on really good quality, affordable cabinets, which putting in a basement suite, it's really not that expensive. But Tim and I set the budget at 60,000. We told him to do a few edits upstairs. We even told him maybe paint the cabinet doors. We didn't even tell him to do that.
Yeah. He just went to town.
He had to get a washer and dryer upstairs. That's one thing he had to do.
And he had to split
frame
in the entrance so that the entranceways were separate up and down.
Yeah. So when we went over there, you guys go on our Calgary Real Estate Wealth channel and you'll see the work he's done. Tim and I went over, we had to do a video, and we're going to go back and do a video when it's done. But we couldn't believe what he did. He tore the whole house apart. The kitchen was gone, the bathroom was gone. And don't forget, he's putting in a basement suite, so the budget's blown from now 60,000 up to 100,000. And he is doing a lot of work himself. But he's the kind of guy that really wants.
His explanation for doing it that way is he said, I want to do it once.
Yeah.
I want to do it once the right way, and I don't want to come back here for 5 years to fix anything.
Yeah.
So he's going to do it the right way with the right materials and the right trades doing the plumbing and electrical for him, that he will be able to walk away, put the tenants in there, walk away, and he won't have to touch anything in there for years and years and years because it's going to be built to such high standards.
Yeah, and we told his wife, Priscilla, we said, you're not going to see him for 6 weeks. He's going to be doing this. He doesn't have to do it. She's like, yeah, I know, but he won't listen. So anyway, so we'll go back and do a progress report, but each to their own, Tim. But the best thing about this strategy is when this house is done, it's going to be a legally suited, basically brand new house, because it already had new windows, new roof, new furnace, new hot water tank. So all those big ticket items are taken care of. It's just all internal. And you know what? Renovated properties in Marlborough are going upwards of 700,000. So we already know, and he got in for 545. So we already know that even if he goes to the 100,000, he's still below where that property's worth. And then that property will continue to go up because the Northeast is really the last affordable area in Calgary. You were just saying the averages are upwards of 650 for a detached home. Yeah. He has on a beautiful street in Marlborough, raised bungalow or bi-level? Bi-level. He has a bi-level with a huge double car garage with a parking pad as well. And so this property will just continue to go up moving forward. But the BRRRR strategy is one way that if interest rates are chipping into, and we're getting a lot of phone calls, Tim, that mortgages are coming due before the end of the year, and we're getting clients calling us saying, what should we do? Should we sell? But if there's an opportunity maybe to refinance, extend the term of the mortgage out, which will lower the payment and put money in your pocket, it may be worth to hold on to. Or if you're tired of it, you know what, and you want to get into a different asset class, it may be worth selling it. We'd have to determine that. But the BRRRR strategy is definitely the way to make money in this market because the comparables are there. So if you're going to do a renovation like Dennis, you have to make sure that the comparables, meaning renovated properties, are selling in the price range well above what you're spending on the property.
Yeah, and you've got two things working in your favor. You've got the renovation value working in your favor, and you've got the market going up working in your favor. So when those two things align, the market's going up and you're increasing the value of the property through renovating, you stand to get a higher appraisal when you're done, and you can pull out more money on the refinance when you do that. Okay, moving on. Another way that you can profit in a market like we have right now is buying pre-construction. We mentioned this project that we're showcasing down in Okotoks. It's called Maple Muse. It's a row of 10 townhomes that are being built. They're going to break ground actually in August. And there are multiple exit strategies that you can make money on this. And we're going to go through them right now.
Yeah, so this is a great opportunity. Tim and I were very fortunate enough that the developer of this project actually read our book. Both the developer and the planner, basically, read our book and really enjoyed what we do. And you know what? They've gone into a pocket of downtown Okotoks, within walking distance, that we're very, very excited for. They're putting in 10 townhouses, and these 10 townhouses, I think we'll show it on the next slide, but it comes with 6 N units, which is very, very exciting, the way they've constructed this. But at the same time, we've landed the opportunity to have our clients have the ability to skip sale this out. So what does that look like? Basically, it would be doing your due diligence with us on this property to see what the returns are. But by getting in early, this is your opportunity to make money. And how much money? It could be $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. Similar units, we can tell you, that are being built like this, we know in Calgary, Tim, are selling upwards of $700,000.
Yeah, and in Okotoks as well, they're selling in the high 6s.
In the high 6s. So we know that going into a new area where there's going to be massive development going forward, that these are priced very, very aggressively to get it off the ground, and possession isn't till mid next year. So what that means for...
I think it's summer next year, like August 2025.
Okay, so what that means for the investor is that they get to put a deposit down on this property, hold on to it, nothing to do until possession. They have the ability to skip it out again, so they don't actually buy the property, or they can close on it, and then either you
can flip it out after you close on it.
Yeah, you could rent it out, you could put it on Airbnb, and one other option is you could move in because the prices are so attractive. So buying pre-construction in an up market, the Okotoks market right now, Tim, has severe low inventory, which will just continue with appreciation because of those factors. It's a great way to invest without doing it.
Yeah, and with these units, the rental market in Okotoks is just very, very tight right now. You can go on Rent Faster. There's next to nothing for rent in Okotoks. There haven't been a whole lot of condo buildings put up in, I mean, there's a lot of low-rise buildings there, but there's not a lot of total units. So people who work in Okotoks, they work in the service industry or they work in retail, what some of the businesses are doing down there is they're actually setting up shuttle buses from the southern part of the city, the last LRT station in Calgary, and they're shuttling these people to their jobs down in Okotoks because there's nowhere for these people to live. So if you can provide good rental accommodation to people who live in Okotoks and work in Okotoks, you'll be able to get premium rents for well into the future because there's a severe shortage of rental units down there.
Yeah, we're actually surprised of the rents that you can actually get. So you can see how it's constructed on the bottom left here. You can see how there's 3 separate, what would you say, Tim?
Floor plans.
Floor plans, and that there are multiple corner units, which is really good. And the corner units come with the flex room, which is a bonus. But each one of these units are priced like really, for brand new construction, they're priced amazingly. And it's something that if you are thinking of doing a skip sale, we would have to meet with you and walk you through the process of all of that.
Yeah, so you can see the varying floor plans there, and there is only 10 units in this complex, so your condo fees are always going to be quite low. There's not a lot of parking space that you have to look after for the snow removal, not a lot of groundskeeping. So your condo fees are always going to be low. They were anticipating them to be under $300 for the first 10 years or so. That'll be determined when it's built, but when you have low condo fees like that, you have a low entrance price, $519,900 for the starter units. It's a very, very good investment, and like I said, you're going to have tenants forever for those types of units.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go to the next slide here.
Okay.
This is a good one here. Don't stop doing what you love. So Tim and I, we can tell you when we're going into investing in real estate, we kind of want to do something different. I mean, we fell into becoming realtors because we're investing in real estate, and the investments team were making us so much money that we wanted to do it full time.
Yeah.
So what we love about real estate investing, a lot of people out there, basically say, well, ask us, how can we quit our day jobs? I don't think it's ever about that. I think it's about doing something that you love. I need to drink some water. Doing something that you love. So working at something that you want to do instead of having to do it.
Yeah, and this couple here, that's a property they bought in Silver Springs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Foreclosure.
Yeah, Julian's an electrician. We refer him to a lot of our clients because he does have his own business. And he will do work weekends and evenings that'll fit your schedule. But anyways, he loves doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
He actually bought into an existing electrician business, so he doesn't work for anyone else now. He works for himself. And he wants to continue that, but he also wants to be a real estate investor. So he does own rental properties on the side. And he's very successful. His family loves living in Silver Springs. And that's what this slide is all about. Don't stop doing what you're doing if you're very good at it, if you love it.
Yeah, he was working for the hospital. He was an electrician there for the longest time. And then, he bought this property. It was a foreclosure. He never thought he could buy in Silver Springs. He was living in a little townhouse that he owned as well, became a rental property. And then he went into this property, actually put the suite in himself in Silver Springs, and that property's probably gone up $350,000 since he's bought it. So is it possible? Yes, but you have to take action. And real estate can really eventually give you what you want. We don't know how long it's going to take, but by taking action, you can be on your way to get there. Yeah,
and again, that phrase right there, taking action, is what we're all about. If you're sitting on the fence, you don't know what to do, then you really have to come down and meet with us. We'll give you an hour of our time, figure out where you are right now, where you want to go. We'll have you work with Danielle, our mortgage broker, so that you can figure out what kind of property you can get, what strategy you want to do, and how you're going to build that wealth and create some better retirement for you and your family.
Yeah. If anyone has any questions, it's a good time to put it in the chat. We'll get to that. We'll just quickly go over, if you are new to us, our ebook that we promised. I'll put this in the chat so you guys can see.
So it's 1 Million Reasons to Buy Real Estate. And what we did is we created this book to make it a really, really quick overview of why we got into investing in real estate, the 3 rates of return. And it's a quick read, but there's tons of information in there for you to get started if you're just trying to get started investing in real estate.
Yep, and it's free. So you should go on crewinvesting.com. The link is there. The next one, we do sell this book. It's called Fearless Real Estate. It sells for, I think, $17 online. And it goes through what our clients have been doing, how they invest, how they've made money. We really want to showcase them. And it goes through different stages of investing. The first stage would be raising capital or discovering what strategy you should use. It goes through flipping, it goes through joint ventures, that's buying properties with other people. And we've got tremendous feedback from this book. We're very proud of it. It's a little bit different. Tim and I read Rich Dad Poor Dad many years ago, probably 20 years ago now, and that book changed our lives. But the difference between this book and a book like that is Rich Dad Poor Dad just gave you a few little snippets of things. This actually gives you the meat and potatoes to help you move forward.
Yeah, and it tells the actual stories that our clients are doing in the market today, using every single real estate investment strategy there is. And like the pictures are on the front of the book right there, we make it as a showcase for them, because we really like it when our clients have tons of success, when they make lots of money. So that's why we showcase them in this book. And if you go through it and you read the things that they're doing, they are making a lot of money investing in real estate.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. They've all made a lot of money.
I think I went too
the
far.
next thing here is our membership. By all means, you don't have to be a member to work with us, but we do have a membership for our investors that maybe need help with property services, like leasing the property out, or just mentorship. It actually comes with over 100 hours of content, and it goes through all different strategies. I mean, we even talk about VTBs, which is vendor takebacks, or agreements for sale, or doing lease options, or wholesaling. And we actually teach you the good and bad aspects of doing some of these strategies. We have lessons on using hard money, if you should be using hard money, when flipping homes, what kind of renovations to do, and working out which properties are great to flip. We go through many other aspects of investing, how to analyze real estate deals, how to analyze which communities are up and coming, or we like to call them spillover communities, that are going to go up in value sooner than later. There's many, Tim is.
Yeah, well, a big part of this course that we've included is we put our landlord kit in there. And what our landlord kit is it's kind of a self-management program for real estate investors out there who are tired of spending all kinds of money using a property management company when they can do it on their own for very little time. I mean, just by using our landlord kit, you can save yourself upwards of $5,000 a year, where it's 10% of the rent to place a tenant.
Yeah.
In some places it's 1 month's rent to place a tenant. So if your rent is $2,500 a month, you're saving yourself $2,500 by placing your own tenant. And if you're paying 10%, that's $250 a month that you're saving yourself if you're managing it yourself. So including our landlord kit in this membership is a huge cost savings for our clients.
Yeah, we didn't want to make money off our clients. The whole purpose of doing this is providing value. So $97 per month gets you a property rented. And we've got people that have property management companies out there doing it for 10% of the rents, and they switch over to us, and it's $97 per month. So it could be for you, and if you need to discover more, just reach out to us. The next thing you should go do is go check out our Crew TV. If you haven't already, you see real life examples of people making money in real estate. And you know what, we're starting to enjoy this more. We're trying to do more videos, but we'll get there. But you know what we love about it is our clients love it.
Yeah, and the main point of this YouTube channel is to provide you guys with information, whether it's information on how to flip a house, whether it's information, a walkthrough on a rental property, whether it's interviewing a client about what they did in a specific strategy. We want it to be packed with information so that you can get you can get tons of information out of it and use that information to further your real estate investing.
Yeah, it's worth it. Worth looking. You will learn stuff from it as well. If you think investing's for you, simply send out an email to us. The details are coming up
right there.
We will be hosting another seminar in 2 weeks. It's all about legalizing basement suites. We're putting this on because we've kind of realized we can't find legally suited properties, so we have to teach you how to turn regular homes into suited properties. So that will be in 2 weeks. Please go to work tomorrow. Tell your friends about us. Tell them to come online in 2 weeks' time. And if you are interested in investing in real estate, we'd love to hear from you. Simply send us an email, and we can help you move forward.
Yeah, and watch yourself out in the rain tonight. You can see behind us, it started to rain. Thanks for coming. We had a great time giving this seminar. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.